All right. Good evening, morning, afternoon, night, whenever it may be. Welcome back, guys. It's your boy, Do It With Dan, and we are back in the shop working on the center console. I really need to start this video out with a serious question, and I want you to take me very seriously when I ask this. Do you think that it's time for me to cut the mullet? Because realistically, I feel like it's really great. I've been really tired of it because I hate washing it. You know, it's a lot of effort to wash this freaking magnificent flock of hair, you know, but to be honest, you know, my parents hate it and it's a lot of fucking effort. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between, because about the time that I was ready to cut it all off, I looked in the mirror and realized just how bitchin' of a mullet it really is. I mean, God dang, am I right? So that's where I want to start this video out, is just with a simple question. Do you think that it's time to lop the mullet off? So this project's only been going on for like four years at this point? I can't even remember. But we're getting really close to being done. And I know I say that every time, but it's the truth. So I've been working on the center console, and I've decided that I wanted to make the absolute most epic road trip worthy center console of all time. And that involves a lot of like doing stuff. Now, this is my first time ever designing anything like this and doing anything like this. So obviously it's been like less than productive. And I was uploading as many videos as I could about it, but then I got really tired of doing that. I wanted to just do a big jamboree of content. And that's what this is. This is a long ass video of content, and I know you guys are gonna like it. And this center console has everything. I mean, it's got rainbow lights, it's got acrylic, it's got 2 wireless chargers, like 5 USB ports in just the front of the center console. It's got a 120 volt outlet. I mean, you name it, man. This thing is gonna be off the chain, and we're making crazy headroom. And today, we've basically finished up the front center console, which is fantastic. I'm very happy to be here. There's not much left that needs to be done, maybe 1 or 2 more things, but I can't jam it in this video. I just can't do it. So I think the best thing to do is for us to kind of go over what I just got done doing in the previous videos, and then we'll hop into the content. That way you guys are all brought up to speed. I know my videos have been super sporadic because of the ankle injury and then getting sick immediately afterwards, but I'm good now. I'm finally fucking good. I feel like $1 million comparatively, and I've been really happy to get back to fucking work, man. It feels really good. I'm glad you guys are still here. Thank you guys for watching. Now, there's no sponsorships in this video. This is straight like 30 some odd minutes, maybe longer than that, of content. So let's buckle up, let's do a quick recap, and then we'll get to work, all right? All right. All right, let's keep this recap under a minute. Now, the first thing I had to do was do some drawings and design it on a piece of paper just so I can visualize it in my head. After that, I took some big ass cardboard, drew some shapes, and used it to get some dimensions on the inside of the dually. Using cardboard is a great way to get perfect cuts so you can get great mesh. Then I took the cardboard, traced it onto some wood, and then cut it out. That gave me my shape and helped me create a design that I wasn't gonna use in the future. After that, I made some more shit that I wasn't gonna use. Then after I got all the way done with cutting the acrylic and got to this design, I decided I wanted to change it. So I did. I basically started over, got some more cuts done, and now we're all caught up and we can start today's video. All right, gotta do a test fit, make sure it works. Man, that thing fits great. Did it the wrong way. I knew I was gonna do that. So this is gonna be very strange, but I'm trying to get my wireless charger here to fit inside a piece of acrylic. But I wanna create a nice little metal face template. I'm gonna coat this thing in rubber so it's gonna be nice and soft. But I was thinking that this would be a great way to get precision cuts to make sure I can fit this in properly, and then I can even use it to make a router jig. So I've created this part here in Inkscape, which I'm not super familiar with. I'm still learning. I don't have my other programs on this computer here, and I did bring my laptop. It's 7 by 11, should fit over a piece of acrylic perfectly. This, I'm gonna cut out this piece of metal. It's already, the edge is already nice and smooth. It's got screw holes for it. I don't know if the cutter is gonna be able to do that, but we're gonna find out. And then we've got this piece, should be pretty accurate. We're gonna find out, won't we? All right, here's to hoping that my calculations and math was correct. Keep fucking with Dan, huh? You want to think that little dude with Dan is dumb, huh? Let's see how the math turned out. First try on this bitch. Fuck you. That's awesome. First try, by the way. First try. Look at this. When the math is perfect. Oh my gosh. That's beautiful, is it not? Oh my gosh, that math is perfect, like to the millimeter, bro. The millimeter. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. Stop fucking with me. Stop fucking with me, bro. So that is fantastic news. The problem is I didn't even notice, but there's like 2 or 3 little pocket dents right here. I don't know what caused that. So I have to cut another one. But the first one, look at this. It does not get better than that, bro. That is awesome. So that'll sit on top of this piece of acrylic like so. With that in it, just beveled down just a little bit. Oh, bravissimo. And that water table kills a lot of the smoke. We'll check to make sure we don't have any dents and then cut it again and we'll be done. Nice. No dents. That's the one we're running. right, man, we've been at it for what, like 15, 20 minutes at this point. I think it's a good idea if we just take a quick breather, and I wanna go over something that I did the other day on Instagram. A couple weeks ago on Instagram, I posted this post called Terrible Superpowers. It's a list that I've been working on for a little while now, and I asked you guys to add onto the list. These are the ones that I posted. Fingers that can disconnect like lizard tails, and I spelled tails wrong because I'd been participating, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, how else am I gonna come up with a list of terrible superpowers? Fingers that can disconnect like lizard tails, you know, like they just pop off whenever you want them to, but they grow back, obviously. You can run super fast, but only in reverse, only backwards. You can teleport, but only 1 inch at a time, and there's a 1 second cooldown. The ability to detect a snail within 10 feet of you. Now, a lot of you guys said that that was actually pretty useful because of like this theoretical idea that's been going on the internet forever, which is like you can live for eternity, but if this specific snail touches you, then you die. So I suppose in that regards, it would be a pretty neat superpower, but this is regular fucking snails, right? I think this one's my favorite. You can only jump 30 feet high, no more, no less. Fireproof, but only on your elbows. Those are my favorite ones that I've got on the list, but I asked you guys to come up with a bunch of them yourselves. And honestly, some of them were fucking great, and some of them were pretty shit. Super strength, but only when you're pooping. I think that's a pretty good one. The ability to turn water into any soda that you like, but it's flat. That one sucks. That's a pretty terrible superpower. The ability to walk on water, but only in bathtubs. This one doesn't have any likes, but I think it's funny. Can turn into a lamp, but only once. The ability to control asbestos like Magneto. That's fucking great, that's pretty good. The ability to see through walls, but you can't see objects or people. Telekinesis, but only with random objects. You can stretch your arms as long as you want, but it takes a full 24 hours for them to shrink back to regular size. That's pretty good. And there's a bunch of them, man. These are hilarious. They go on and on forever. If you don't follow me on Instagram, give it a check out. I appreciate it if you do. I'm verified. I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but I got that little blue check mark, whatever. Anyways, that's killed a couple of minutes. Let's get back to work. Now we've come to the portion that I've really not been looking forward to, which is just putting it all together in a way that we can take it apart later. It's great right now, it's all held together with wood screws, so we can pull them out and put them back in a couple of times, right? But the problem that we get into is that after you do that a couple times with the MDF, the hole, much like your mother, is completely slap worn out. So what I've got here is, by the way, a new microphone check, by the way. You can hear me all the way over here, which is, you know, nobody ever in my life has told me they need to hear me better, but that's what we're doing today. And I'm wearing a thermal, so it's like super cold outside, so I feel really highly educated for no reason other than the fact that I'm wearing a long sleeve t-shirt and I have a microphone. That's right. But I have these wooden inserts. Man, that's probably really loud. Wooden inserts here, different sizes, different shapes for different types of threading. And I'm basically gonna either use these in the deep parts that I know that it can take it, giggity, or I'm gonna use a nut that I just kind of glue on the inside of the wood to create different spots to where I can not only thread and unthread these things with just bolts and nuts versus using screws and then having the holes wear out. I want this thing to be removable and take apartable for future upgrades. Another big part of it is that I'm gonna need to do it for the upholstery when I give it to my buddy Alex to do the upholstery on it. It'll have to be able to be broken down in certain ways and put back together in certain ways to where it hides the hardware and it looks fucking cool and it's easy to do. Does that make sense? Whether or not that makes sense is not the point because I'm gonna do it anyway, but that's what today's objective is. So. All right, so before we wrap this up for the night, I've got one more thing I'd like to do. I've got these leftover nodes from the Duallie. One of them has a standard outlet, which goes to an inverter that's already on the inside of the ECU or somewhere, I don't fucking know. Another USB, it's got 2 USB slots, an auxiliary port, and then an SD card reader. I'd like to reuse that because I can use it on the radio. And then the final piece, 3 separate USB ports. These aren't like 3.0 or no, they're probably slow as hell, but I'd still rather have them and reuse them than, you know, go the other route. Some of them are audio source, some of them are regular charging, and I still want to reuse them, which I think will be really cool. I'm gonna put them on the inside of the lid. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop over to the plasma cutting table one more time and create another piece. All right, so I'm just gonna open up good old-fashioned Inkscape because that's what this computer has on it. It's not my favorite choice, but the measurements are pretty accurate, which is great. Now, I've decided on a 3" by 9" piece of plate with individual holes cut out. So I'm gonna start out by creating just a square. I can adjust the height and width up here. 3 inches by 9 inches. That'll give us a nice little square here. I'll make that a better color to look at. Gauge here, I got my gauge so I can measure exactly how wide it needs to be. The width on this guy needs to be about 1.65. Let's round that up to 167. We'll create another square here. Height, we need it to go around these little clips that we have here. Height, 1.88. Cool. That'll cover our plug. The USB ports, this one, we're looking at 1.11, let's do 1.11 in height we're gonna make this thing sideways, which is different than it normally goes, by 1.51. Then our far right USB ports, we'll do 1.95, height-wise, and width, 1.75. So now we have these 3 squares proportioned for cutting, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make them negatives on the back of our sheet and cut them out. I think that's gonna work pretty good. So now we need to delete the green squares from the black squares. Actually, I'm gonna add just a little bit of a chamfer to this edge. So that looks good. Path, object to path. There we go. Path, difference. So now we have 3 separate areas that are cut out. And I also need to add some screw holes, which will be easy. Make them 0.25 of an inch. And then we're just gonna exclude them again. Difference, boom. Just that simple, perfectly proportioned piece of plate. And we're gonna cut that out of 16 gauge steel. So save this as a DXF file. And then there's our plate opened in SheetCam. Now all we have to do is create the process for it, the operation. So we're gonna do operation, plasma cut. We've got our 65 amp, 16 gauge steel tip in here, and we're just gonna hit OK. Boom. File, run post process. Now we should bring it over to our plasma cutting program, turn on our plasma cutter and cut to work. And I think we should be good to run this. We're gonna try it. Worst case scenario, we just cut another one, right? All right, now this looks pretty damn good. I'm gonna clean up the dross a little bit, and then we're gonna see if everything fits. All right, so these fit really well, but these two have clips for orientation that I need to indent into either side of the plate. Like this one doesn't have any, so it's already fit and flush, but these two, like I said, have these little orientation-based clips that I didn't add. I knew I was gonna add those later, so I'm gonna probably take the Dremel here in a little bit and cut those orientation clips. All right, is our flush mount plate. That looks fucking awesome. We got our plug on the right side, USB ports and aux in the middle with an SD card, and 3 extra USB ports on the far left. That is fantastic. Super awesome, man. I'm stoked on that. Now we just gotta go make a thing for it on the inside of the center console. Shit, I put it in upside down. All right, guys, that is going to be where we end the video for today. I feel like we've accomplished a lot, even though I don't know if it really feels like it on video after condensing everything, but like this has been filmed over the course of like a week and a half. This whole thing is a learning experience to me. I'm just trying to do the best I can do, and everything's turning out really good. Realistically, I think I have 1 or 2 more things to do with the acrylic, but outside of that, it's time for me to send it off to my buddy Alex, who's gonna do the upholstery on it. And then we're going to work on the rear one, which is gonna hopefully go a lot faster because it doesn't have as much designing on it. It's more or less just a box that we put shit in. And there will be some lights in it, but it won't be nearly as intuitive as the front one has been. So that's great. And then once the front and rear are complete, we can do the lid, which is, I've got such a cool epoxy lid idea that is gonna blow you guys' mind because like it's blowing my mind and I haven't even made it yet. So that is up next on the list of things to do. It's gonna be the coolest thing I've ever done on this channel. I'm pretty sure of that. And then after that, the Duallies pretty much good to go. I think we gotta redo the headliner with the Starry Night headliner, and then the truck's good. It's done, it's drivable. And yeah, I think the taillights stopped working, so I gotta figure that out. But I mean, we don't need taillights to drive it, right? Right, it still drives without them. Anyway, guys, thank you once again for staying along with me. It's been a ridiculous journey for the past 4 months getting back here. We're starting 2022 out with the dually. I can't imagine a better thing to work on than that. And we're gonna keep on it. And my ankle's doing really good. Hopefully soon I'll be back on a bike. Not quite ready, both physically and mentally. I'm not quite ready mentally to hop back on 2 wheels just because it's like, man, that shit really hurted, you know? That hurt me in every aspect. It hurt my leg, it hurt my feelings, it hurt my pocketbook. That injury hurt every bit of me. So I'm a little apprehensive about hopping on 2 wheels again, but it will happen. I think I want to get a sport bike again. Just get back to doing the shit that I was supposed to be doing all along. But again, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the fuck out of you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right. It's time to walk away.